Hello again, Philadelphia Phillies fans. We are at the end of the regular season for 2025 MLB season. You can see that the Phillies did indeed set the MLB record for wins in a season, beating the 2001 Mariners, I believe, who had 116 wins, who did not go on to win the World Series. They lost in the ALCS, I think, to the New York Yankees. And so, 125 wins, 37 losses, a 772 winning percentage. You can see in our last 10 games, we slumped all the way to a 700 winning percentage. We won the division by 22 games. Joining us in the postseason, the Padres, Dodgers, and Brewers. The Nats, after their offseason spending spree, once they didn't have to re-sign Juan Soto because they traded him to me, they missed the playoffs by a game, so they came close. Over here, we've got the Red Sox, Angels, Rangers, and Indians. The Tigers, Astros, Mariners, A's, and Rays were all within 4 games, and then there was a significant drop-off. I need the Baltimore Orioles to get it together. I feel like 73 wins for like a 14th place team is a lot. 451 and be the second worst team in the league. Anyways, but it doesn't matter. We also set the record for run differential, 432, plus 432. The old record, I believe, I looked it up a little bit ago, and I believe that it was plus 411 from the 1939 Yankees, so we beat that. So Pythagorean still had us at 119. Let's see if there's anything crazy here. Not really. We weren't as good post All-Star break. Only 51 and 20 after a 74 and 17 pre All-Star break. Good against lefties, good against righties, extra innings, 1 run. So, obviously our winning percentage, 17 of our 37 losses were in 1-run games. So, our winning percentage was below 700, I think that would come out to in 1-run games. So, real slump there in the close games. So let's go ahead and jump into who did what, because it is a lot of fun. Juan Soto, 8.6 WAR, 172 WRC plus, 50 home runs, 153 runs scored. He's probably going to win MVP. His plate appearances, WAR, WRC plus, home runs, on-base percentage, and slugging percentage all led the league. He also made his way onto Phillies single-season leaderboards in multiple categories, which I'll show you after we go through the players. Bryce Harper, great season, man. At the age of 32, his best season in my sim at 5.7 WAR. He hit 30 bombs, 29 doubles. He walked in 16.8% of his plate appearances, 153 hits. Very good season from Bryce in his age 32 season. He'll be 33 in October, which is this month. Manny just keeps doing it. 42 bombs, 5.6 WAR, 133 WRC plus. He scored 108 runs. He's been just so good for me in the 3 seasons. 7.1, 5.3, 5.6 WAR. At some point, this dream is going to come to an end, but Manny's been unreal. Willy Adames, his bat did come back to the level last year. In fact, a little bit above. Another 5.3 WAR season from him, 116 WRC plus. He has 1 year left in Philly, and then he's going to be a free agent at the age of 31 and wanting a whole bunch of money. I'll get into this more in the offseason preparation and planning episode, but he'll be 31. This would renew his 2026 option year, which I have for $14 million, which I'm obviously going to pick up. But then after that, he wants 6 years, $148 million as a 31-year-old. So not sure Willy the Kid Adames will be back beyond this 1 year, which is a shame because he's awesome. Let's see, Pache, 5.2 WAR, 117 WRC plus, just missed 30 home run plateau. Doubled 32 times. Good season from Pache. He walked more and struck out less than his first season in Philly. Cornelius Randolph, our first baseman, 4.1 WAR, 128 WRC plus, went deep 44 times, drove in 132 runs, scored 123 times. Just crazy numbers here. 132 runs driven in led the league. Unfortunately, his teammate beat him out in some other categories, Juan Soto. Jung Hoo Lee played in only 125 games because of the injury, but he put up 2.8 WAR. He didn't win the batting title this year like he did last year. He had the same batting average, though, 318 and 318. Got on base a little bit more. Slugging percentage was higher. I mean, he went deep 22 times. Doubles were way down. He had 48 and led the league last year. This year it's 33. But again, that's because he played in 20-some fewer games. That's explains some of that difference. And, I mean, he walked almost as much as he struck out this year. And then after that, we've got Bryson Stott, who played in 105 starts, 445 plate appearances, was 9% above league average, according to WRC+. A solid above-average player. He hits in like my 8 or 9 hole. He'd probably be like a 2 or 6 hitter, or, a 3 or a 6 hitter in plenty of lineups around the league. And let's keep going. JT Realmuto, he's starting to fade. His catcher ability is down to 60. You can see in his scouting, a bunch of stuff started to go down. A bunch of other stuff started to go down. He's 34 now, but he finished out the last year of his contract, and he put up just 1.1 WAR in 105 games, just a 78 WRC+. So that's really the second time in 3 years that he's been like 20% below league average with the bat, and really a below average player according to WAR. But his defense makes him very worthwhile. But, I really don't think he'll be back next year. And 5 years, a nice $69 million ask, not going to happen. I think he'll go out to the market and end up making far less than this, far less. I'm not going to qualifying offer him because I think he'd accept it. If his catcher ability hadn't gone down so much, I would be into giving him a smaller deal once he goes to the market and sees he's not going to get it. But, I think it's time for him to move on, go somewhere else. But the 5-year deal worked out well, and hopefully it can end with a World Series for him. Austin Hedges, the backup, 0.9 WAR, 84 WRC+, did his job. Nick Maton had 249 plate appearances as a backup infielder and a 108 WRC+. Really solid for a utility guy. I mean, your backup infielder is 8% above league average with the bat. Now, he is out of options, and we've got young guys coming. We'll see what happens with him next year. Nick Solak has been out for the last month with a fractured finger. Ended the season all right, but definitely his worst year as a Philly, and he is headed to free agency. He's here to face lefties, and he had a 107 WRC+, which is well below his WRC+ of 120. Let's see. And for contract extension, what does he want? Yeah, 3 years, $20 million. So he's not going to be back. And then Teoscar Hernandez, who we brought in at the trade deadline, he was fine for us. He was totally league average at the bat. His WAR was exactly 0, so I guess he lost some defensive value. But a 102 WRC+ in 70 plate appearances. He did strike out in 33% of his plate appearances, but just a 235 BABIP. So he deserved better luck with the BABIP, if you ask me. But pretty limited playing time for him. So that's the offense. The pitching, we're going to go over here, and plenty of guys actually who spent a decent amount of time on my roster are not here because the computer auto-generated my playoff roster. My playoff pitching staff will look a little bit different than this. You can see I have Burritos benched for a day because I didn't want him starting the last day of the regular season because I only have one lefty in the bullpen here. So obviously I will change that up. Both Caraway and Pomeranz are missing here. So in terms of WAR, Aaron Nola and Sandy Alcantara tied for the team lead with 4.4. Alcantara, of course, a bunch of that was not with us. But Nola put up 4.4 WAR, 6 RWAR, good ERA, good FIP. His strikeout to walk ratio was pretty good. Struck out fewer people than last year, but also gave up way fewer home runs. So a good age 32 season. And now his deal will get progressively cheaper. He's got 4 years left. He's going to go 33, 32, 32, 28 million. But it's good to, get a solid season out of Nola because this contract does have some risk and it's likely to be ugly at the end. Alcantara was just awesome for us. He put up in 85 innings, 2.8 WAR and 4.1 RWAR with a 2.11 ERA, 2.98 FIP. I mean, just awesome. He just really didn't give up home runs. Seemed to be a big difference, and he had a good improved strikeout to walk ratio. And then Edward Segovia, who led the league in ERA with a 2.21 ERA, 3.6 WAR, 7.2 R WAR. His FIP was 3.82, which is still 16% above league average, but his ERA was 105% better than league average. His home runs per 9 led the league. His strikeout to walk ratio is good. Again, I forgot to check what makes you eligible for Rookie of the Year. So I haven't released the last video where I said that yet at this point when I'm recording it. So if you said it in the comments in the last video, I haven't seen him at the time I'm recording this, but I might have by the time you're hearing this. I also should just look it up. I just keep forgetting. But anyways, I think he'll get Cy Young votes for sure. I'll have multiple guys get Cy Young votes. Barrios, another good season, man. 3 WAR, 4.4 R WAR, led the league in BABIP, so he's fortunate. His 4.29 FIP was much better than his 3.59 ERA. Or I'm sorry, his 3.59 ERA, much better than his 4.29 FIP, but his FIP minus was still good. It was still 6% better than league average. It's not like he was a bum. And let's see, where are we here? Justice Sheffield, another solid season in the rotation, almost identical to last year. Same WAR, R WAR off by 0.1, and ERA different by 0.02. Really similar season, but his walks were up and his strikeouts were down. So he's 29 now. We've got, let's see, we've got 3 years left after this year, one of them being a team option with a $5 million buyout. So that's Justice Sheffield. Then on to the bullpen, Zach Little or Littell, whatever you prefer, dominant. 63 innings, 2.5 WAR. Just really, really good. And he's entering arbitration. I tried to offer him a multi-year deal and he wasn't having it. I would love to lock him up longer, but we'll see what happens there. Mason Fox, he really faded down the stretch. 2 WAR, 0.8 R WAR. His ERA ended up at 4.15, a FIP of 3.46. He led the league in games pitched. He faded down the stretch. It was a little disappointing, but still obviously a good reliever. Gunnar Mayer is injured with a pending diagnosis, which is disheartening. His ERA went up a bit, same with his FIP, 2.4 and a 3 FIP. So, but his strikeout to walk percentage is still 27.7. He's struck out 13 guys per 9. Let's see, Beck Way. I'm not going to go through all these guys in detail. Beck Way, solid, 3.53 ERA, similar FIP. Zach Pop, I'll show you him because he was much better for us with a 2.38 ERA, 2.98 FIP. So very nice from Zach. And Schultz, DeGoss, Bummer, all good. You know, if you look by ERA plus, above 100 is better than league average. The only guy not above league average was Pop, and that was before he was with us. He was above league average with us. So everybody was better than league average in ERA. And in FIP, same story. Anything below 100 is better than league average. The worst pitcher on our team, Aaron Bummer, was 3% better than league average with FIP. I mean, that's just a crazy good pitching staff. And then let me show you Pomeranz and Caraway. They should be on this one. Here's Drew Pomeranz. He was hurt for a while. Only pitched 10 games this season. 2.57 ERA, 3.52 FIP. I'm not sure if I'll put him on the playoff roster because I think I've only got room for him or Burl Callaway, who just pitched a lot more for us. 33 and 2/3 innings. His FIP minus was 99, so I guess he was actually the worst FIP minus on our staff, but still better than league average. So just where we ended up in terms of monthly, you know, October we only went 500, but September 807. I mean, our winning percentage was above 800 in 4 different months: 692, 678, then in July and August. What weren't we first in? Batting average we were 3rd, hits we were 3rd, strikeouts we were 2nd, base running we were 9th. What weren't we first in here? Based on balls, we were 4th, and zone rating, we were 3rd. So pretty awesome. Let me show you. I actually didn't look at this, so you guys might catch things that I didn't. I'm not going to look at I'm not going to worry about the career. I think some guys are starting to appear on the career leaderboards, especially in the pitching side with Aaron Nola, not Austin. And let's see. So on base and batting average, nobody's up there. Slugging percentage, Juan Soto 8th all time with a 627. Just one of 3 guys basically since like 1960s on the Phillies to make that leaderboard. Wow. Oh, here's Manny though, 3rd all time in slugging percentage for the Phillies. On base percentage, Soto made it. No, I'm sorry, on base. OPS, Soto made it with a 1054. WAR single season, Soto 8.6 this season, 4th all-time. Games at bats. Let's see. Runs, Soto 153. Hits, nobody made it in hits. Total bases, Soto with 381. Randolph was up there from last season. Singles are boring. Who cares? Doubles, nobody made it, but Lee made it last season. Triples, doubt anybody made it. Nope. Home runs, Soto 2nd with 50. And Randolph made it with 44. He's 10th. But he's probably going to knock himself off of that at some point. RBI, anybody make the cut? No, nobody made the cut. I think that's probably going to be it. Oh, Juan Soto walked 125 times. Oh, we only missed the record by 4. Darn it. Strikeouts, anybody make that this year? No, not that I'm seeing. Cool. Yeah, so just, historical season from Juan Soto for sure. And just to show you real quick the stats. So Luis Garcia won the batting title. Soto won the home run crown by 5 over Vaughn. Randolph and Machado were 3rd. Randolph and Soto 1st and 3rd in runs driven in. Soto and Harper both up there and on base. Soto, Lee, and Machado up there in slugging. Soto and Lee and OPS. Jeez. And this is both leagues, AL and NL combined. Yeah, Wander Franco, I assume, will win the AL MVP with 8.7 WAR. Soto with 8.6 in the NL. And then next best in the NL is Acuna at 7.1. Let's see, what else here? I'm surprised that Soto didn't have more at-bats. Oh, at-bats, right, not plate appearances. He walked 100 and sometimes. Hits, we didn't have anybody up there. Let's see, total bases, we got some dudes. Runs, we've got 3 of the top 7. Yeah, here's some more. Sacrifices, OPS plus. We're all over this leaderboard. Pitching leaders, Segovia, Alcantara, and Nola on the top 4. Nola, Alcantara, and Barrios leading the league in wins. WAR, Nola, and Alcantara. Nobody's up there in innings pitched run because I keep my guys on tight pitch counts to 1, not have them be in too long with a late, have a late hook, but also to hopefully cut down on injuries. That's why you won't see them accumulate Ks either. K per 9, nobody up there either. That's a little surprising to me. Let's see, strikeout to walk ratio, nobody up there either. Walks per 9, nobody up there. That's surprising to me. Our WAR, Segovia dominated by 1.2 wins. And Holds, Fox, and Little both up there. Yeah, quality starts, nobody's up there because I pull my guys early a lot. I'm surprised nobody had fewer than 2.1 walks per 9 on my staff. That's surprising to me. What was the worst? Oh, Little didn't qualify. None of my starters did. Nola was at 2.4. And then Ks per 9. Yeah, these guys were down around 9. All my starters. Interesting. Okay. So now we are going to play the Brewers. And let's show you them. And before we do that, let's look at the league history, playoff history. And, okay, we did not play the Brewers last year. I thought we had. We played them 2 years ago. 2023, they won the World Series. They beat us in the NLCS. Okay, so that's what I was remembering. And there's the old format. So last year, the Dodgers won it over the A's. And let's check out the Milwaukee Brewers. The good land, Algonquin. It's had its share of visitors, and it's going to have visitors from Philadelphia soon. Let's see here. So let's just look at their... Oops, that's not what I meant. Let's go look at their meet the team. So Hura, Pacheco, Yelich. Yelich is still really good. Marsh. This starter dude is really good. Let's see what their WAR situation was. Christian Yelich. Yelich led with 4.2 WAR. Hura, Marsh, Peters, Wong. They have a Concepcion, not to be confused with Julio from my Faco sim. So yeah, I mean, their lineup's good. They have a bunch of their best hitters are lefties. I wonder if they struggle against lefties. Hura, well, yeah. So Marsh, Wong, and Mr. Christian Yelich and Pacheco, where's he? Oh, they all struggle against lefties. I might have to find room for both those lefties, Caraway and Pomeranz, on my team. I might have to do that. And let's go ahead and look at their pitching. Oh, wait, I still got the split on. Okay. So nobody really all that unbelievable. I mean, starter-wise, they're, Becerra is their best, starting at 4.61 ERA and a 4.34 FIP. He looks better there. He's a fly ball pitcher. He's got an elite changeup. But I don't know. I'm not that scared of him. Wow. So he's 24. So he got traded at the age of 20 or 21 from the Dodgers in exchange for Freddie Peralta. And then he was named the number 40 prospect in baseball. So that trade probably worked out well for them. Sorry, I know I'm going down a rabbit hole here. I'm just curious, what did Peralta then go do in LA? Spent one good season. He pitched out of the bullpen for him, dudes. All right, so yeah, I don't know. Nothing too concerning about the Brewers. Anything can happen in a 7-game series, of course, but I'm not overly concerned about them. They were 5th in runs scored, 6th in runs allowed. Their fielding sucks. They ended the season 1-4, but they were on a good run. Wow, in the second half, they were on a good run in July, August, September. Oh, one major bummer. I called up Dylan Castaneda at the end of the season to pitch out of the bullpen, and he tore his flexor tendon, and he's out for 13 months starting at the end of September. So he's going to miss all of next season. I was planning on having him pitch out of my bullpen, maybe even my rotation. So the number 20 prospect in baseball, he didn't have a great season in AAA, 4.11 ERA, but a much better 3.61 FIP. He came up and he struggled for me for sure, an 8.03 ERA, but a much more respectable 5.73 FIP. In just 12 innings, really small sample, but super disappointing. So, he'll be 25 and a half probably. He's not going to be back. He's going to miss all of the 2026 season, which sucks. So, he'll be 25 and a half the next time he pitches for me. Super disappointing, major bummer. But, I have other young arms, which I'll show you that. And before I jump ahead to show you how the Brewers series is going, I wanted to show you some prospects that are near and dear to my heart. And that is my Patreon prospects. So some of my patrons name prospects. And then this guy is not a Patreon prospect. Remove from Patreon. And then I feel like one more of these guys isn't, but I'm not sure. So you can name a prospect if you're part of my Patreon account. And so let's see how these guys are doing. Patron Flash here is guy Barry Allen. So they all had a different kind of player that they preferred. And I believe that Flash wanted a late round draft pick center fielder. So Barry Allen was a 20th round 2024 guy, and he did not do much as a 23-year-old in rookie ball this year. Kyle Billings. Let's see. So he is 25 now, and he was he went rookie ball A and high A this year, but ended the year in rookie ball. Well, that's interesting. And the only stop he was good at was regular A. Huh. Okay. Reich Carter, a shortstop who did well in rookie ball. He's 22, but he put up a 111 WRC plus. So way to go, Reich. But I don't really see a future for him. I don't think this is anybody's patron. I think I accidentally added him. Should be 6 guys, yeah. Peter Wood, a center fielder, 28th rounder, and he made it up to A-ball this year. He was in rookie ball, was doing terribly, then got promoted to high A, and was also terrible. So not a good year for Michael's prospect there. That's Peter Wood. Millard Fillmore, noted junk baller. In Double A, out of the pen, got promoted from high A and put up a 4.46 ERA. And then, of course, Kenny La Flama Blanca Powders. He pitched 98 innings in Double A with a .8 WAR, negative 1.3 R WAR. Rough, Kenny, rough. That was his third straight season in Double-A. He might have plateaued there at 25. So yeah, so let's go ahead and jump ahead and see how we can do against the Brewers in the NLDS, I guess we're going to call it. So, spoiler alert, we made the World Series. We will play the Cleveland Guardians in the World Series. How did we get there? We swept the Brewers, and then we beat the Dodgers in 7. Let's dive a little deeper. Take a look at the heroes, the winners, the losers. So, the Brewers came out, beat them 6-3 in Game 1. We had home runs from Pache, a home run from Randolph, a solid 5 1/3 from Barrios, and I meant to start Nola. I wasn't paying attention, and Barrios, for some reason, my number 2 starter, was thrown in by the computer, which I realized at first pitch. And so, yeah, so that was Game 1. And in Game 2, we came out and we won 5-4. A walk-off double by Randall in the 9th after they had tied it in the 9th on us. We were down 3-0 after 5.5. Real Muto went yard. Soto went yard, both in the 7th. Randolph had 3 hits. Sheffield went 5 innings, was solid. And then the bullpen was pretty good. And Game 3, we beat them 7-3. Came out and put up 6 runs in the 3rd inning. Home run, the only home run was a solo shot by Soto. It was the only extra base hit, which is interesting. But Machado had a couple hits. Harper had a hit. Adames drove in a couple. And Aaron Nola went 5 innings, 4 hits, 3 runs. And yeah, and then the bullpen threw 4 shutout innings. You can see I was pretty quick with hooks on my starting pitchers, as I tend to do in the postseason. Then let's see. We won Game 4 in Milwaukee to end the series 11-1. Randolph took series MVP, a 421 average, and on base, 2 home runs, 5 ribbies, 5 runs. Soto hit 412 in the series with 2 homers and 4 RBI. He had a 333 average from Harper with a bomb. And let's see, Solak went yard in this game, Randolph went yard, and Harper went yard. Alcantara went 7 1/3. I did push him further just to save the bullpen, since we were up so big in the game in the series. And then Segovia threw an inning and 2/3 of perfect ball to close out the series. And then we went on for the rematch with the Dodgers in the NLCS, of course, who beat us last year. We went down 1-0. We lost 5-3. They put up 5 runs in the top of the 8th on our bullpen. Nola threw 87 pitches through 5, no runs. And then I was trying to cruise with Bummer, and he started getting into trouble. And then I think somebody told me this is pronounced Luttell? Littell? I don't know. Littell. So, anyways, he got rocked. So our bullpen just kind of failed us here in Game 1. Real Muto went yard, had a couple hits. Pache had 3 hits. And yeah, so that was discouraging to be cruising up 3-0 after 7 and then lose the game 5-3. But we came out here and came back on them late. We were down 2-0 late in the 8th. We put up 3 runs. A 2-run single by Soto gave us the lead. And Maton also had a single. He came in for Stott, who got hit by a pitch. He didn't end up missing more time, but he had to be pulled from that game. And Maton was 2 for 2. He's the only guy with a multi-hit effort. Randolph and Adames, the only extra base hits of doubles. Barrios went 5 2/3, gave up a run. And then the bullpen the rest of the way pitched well. Only 1 run the rest of the way from Pomeranz, gave that up. And so then we went to LA and we went down 2-1 here. This was who pitched it? This was a Sheffield game. He went 6 innings, 4 runs. I was really trying to get him to. I think I left him in longer because I wanted to get him through the lineup one more time to face Bellinger, and Lux, who struggle against lefties. And Machado, the only guy with a multi-hit game, he had 2 hits. Our offense was really just not great here to start the series. Randolph, the only extra base hit, a double. The bullpen was good in the 2 innings they pitched. And then, the bats still didn't wake up in Game 4, but we won 3-1. We scored 2 runs in the top of the 9th. JT Realmuto had a 2-run single. Our other run was on a solo home run by Stott, who was back in the lineup. And Randolph had an extra had a multi-hit game. And let's see, Lee had a double, Randolph had a double, stopped the home run, of course. Alcantara, another solid inning, 5 1/3. Then we went to a lefty in the 6th, even though he's only at 80 pitches, to face the Bellinger Lux part of their lineup. And the bullpen was really good. No runs the rest of the way. Zach Pop, 2 shutout innings, picked up the win. And yeah, that was big to get back even, obviously. And then in LA, we took a 3-2 series lead with a 6-2 win. Soto went yard in this game, a 2-run homer. Machado had a solo home run, and Real Muto had a solo home run. Real Muto and Machado, the only multi-hit games. Bryce Harper, 0 for 2 with 2 walks. I think he might have heated up at the end of the series. I can't remember for sure. We'll get there. But he was walking a lot. He had a really good on base, even though his average was low. So, don't get too caught up in his 172. Nola, 5 1/3, 2 runs, and then Pomeranz, and then Segovia was just dealing. So I left him in 3 1/3, 1 hit, 5 Ks. And so then we went back to Philly, needing to win 1 of 2, which we did, but we did it the interesting way, of course. And so in the 7th, it was tied, and Happ hit a 2-run homer off of Segovia, who I brought in. Barrios, I believe, gave up a hit to lead off the 7th, and I had him in there. He was at 110 pitches, but he was cruising. He was pitching really well, so I left him in. But he gave up a hit, and Happ was coming up, and Happ was better from the left side than the right side, so I brought in a lefty to push him to the right side, I think, right, Segovia? Oh, no, I'm sorry, I had that backwards. Better from the right side than the left side, so I brought in a righty to make him hit left-handed, and he hit a home run. And then we got a run back in the bottom of the 8th. Randolph went yard, but Harper went 2 for 4, 2 singles, the only multi-hit effort from us. But then we got another run in the top of the 9th, and then we're not able to tie it up. But then Game 7, the Phillies were like, we're not doing this again. We're not going to be denied our historic season again by these pesky Dodgers. The story of this game was Jung-Hoo Lee. He had 3 home runs in this game. He went, where is he? He went 4 for 4 with 6 RBI. He had a single and 3 home runs. He had a 2-run homer in the 2nd, a 2-run homer in the 4th, and a 2-run homer in the 7th. We really put this game out of reach in the 4th. Not out of reach, but, we were up 7-1 after 4, and then 8-1. So, Lee got series MVP. He had 3 home runs and 6 RBI, scored 6 runs. All those RBI, half of those runs, and all those home runs were in the last game. Willie Adames went 3 for 4. Pache went 2 for 5. Sheffield, I pulled him early because he got into trouble. So I just wasn't messing around. It was all hands on deck. And so Sheffield went 3 1/3. He only got 1 run, struck out 5. And then Pop and Carraway and DeGuese shut it down. I mean, we gave up a meaningless run in the top of the 9th, but otherwise the bullpen was perfect after coming, well, not perfect, but Pitt didn't give up any runs until the 9th after coming in the 4th inning with 1 out. So pretty solid from the Phillies there in Game 7. So now we go to take on Cleveland. The Cleveland Guardians snuck in with 86 wins. They beat out the Tigers, who were 1 game behind them. They had a bunch of teams really close to them. But here they are. They're in the World Series now. They were a +5 run differential, which suggests they're a 500 team, according to the run differential. But they were +5 in the Pythagorean. And really, man, I mean, as they've proven, anything can happen in the postseason. And anything can happen in a 7-game series. And they could certainly beat me. But their team doesn't scare me, if that makes sense. It's not a scary team. Their run score, their offense is really good. 2nd in the AL. Really good offense. Runs allowed 12th. ERA 13th. Defensive efficiency 12th. Zone rating 10th. BABIP 13th. Home runs allowed 14th. Terrible pitching, terrible fielding, very good hitting. That's the story of this team. And they're still led by Jose Ramirez, I believe, led them in WAR. Yeah, and then Jimenez, Nolan Jones, Bo Naylor, Josh Naylor. They've got Tommy Pham and Marcelo Zuna down here. Yandy Diaz. So yeah, I mean, Jose Ramirez at the age of 33 is still leading the way for him. Pitching side of things, Zach Gallen's their number one starter. And then a bunch of guys who you look at and you're like, oh yeah, that's why this pitching staff is terrible. Because who's Thomas Ponticelli? He is a 12th round pick of the Indians in 2018 in real life. Ethan Voss was a draft pick, 2024, 23rd overall. He's a top prospect. And then Espino, he's a real guy, right? Yeah, first round, 2019. Okay, I knew that name. And so, yeah, I'm not too scared of this team, but obviously they could beat me. Obviously they could. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play them offline. If I get to 3 wins, I'm going to try to record the game and, announce it and do my moves and all that. Obviously, as I've shared, I don't have as much time to do that stuff now. It's not always quiet while I'm recording or while I'm playing, I mean. So we'll see. I'm hoping to do that. I would love to be able to do this live. It's just not a reality for me right now to be able to do that. But I'm hoping to, once I get to 3 wins, to record some of the games. And so you guys can kind of watch them once I put the video out. So let's do this. Let's go to the World Series and beat the Guardians.